first video blog. I have chosen GMOs. What are GMOs? They're genetically modified organisms. That's the process of copying cell structure and manipulating it for another purpose. For example, the human body produces insulin through genetic engineering. Insulin has been copied, produces insulin, but through genetic engineering, we've been able to copy that and modify it to become a medicine for people who suffer diabetes, in which their body cannot produce enough insulin. For other purposes of this, GMOs, genetic engineers, revolutionized dairy food processes by being able to modify the cells in milk to produce curds and whey, which helped in the wonderful process of cheese making. Genetically modified organisms in foods are coming under fire more and more each day. While people think that GMOs are created by scientists, farmers from about 10,000 years ago began genetically modifying their plants in the simplest way. They would select the seeds of the foods that were the most productive plants and then replant them for the next crop. Those crops would then seed themselves and germinate, and they would be high yielding crops continuously, stronger and more productive. It wasn't until the discovery of DNA that scientists realized that even plants have a cell structure that can be modified. This was a good thing to figure out because they were combating pests eating the crops, and they were using methods such as crop dusting, and those pesticides would go into the water supply and into the local communities and would cause lots of damage. Through the GMOs that were injected into kernels of corn, the pesticides were then inside the corn, and the pests didn't eat it, and the animals didn't get sick, and everybody was happy. So for farmers, GMO agriculture helped them reduce the high costs of pesticide usage, and it also helped eliminate water contamination through spraying. It means some financial relief while still being able to provide their goods for market. This technological advancement in our fruits and vegetables has been affected in a very positive way because there aren't so many pesticides flying through the air and damaging animals and atmosphere. However, consumers are now concerned with ingesting the GMOs. They're concerned that it will increase illness in us, or that we will somehow absorb the DNA of the GMO grown food or the animals that have eaten the GMO grown food. In today's society, there's a tremendous focus on healthy living and eating, so much so that GMOs are really being reviewed by the masses. The crazy types of people that make a stink over every headline without following up with research before they form their opinions and start a witch hunt. They're the groups that'll shout loud holding picket signs saying they only eat organic, and they won't even realize that their organic corn is most likely containing a GMO because that's what's been going on since the 1920s. GMOs are regulated and they're studied, and they are under constant scrutiny from the government. Without the innovation of genetic engineering, we wouldn't have certain medicines, we wouldn't have certain foods. I'm not saying that I'm a pro-GMO or against. What I'm saying is I'm doing the research and finding qualified reports. Being well informed is being well armed. I chose this for my blog because I'm going to be taking on a new way of life. I'm going to try and grow my own fruits and vegetables and eventually raise my own animals for a meat source. Understanding what GMOs do to our food and to us is top priority because I will be feeding my kids. But to date, I am in my 30s, and I know that I have consumed many foods with GMOs. Most likely all my life I have, and so far nothing bad has happened, and we'll knock on wood that that stays. Okay, Charlie Hambrick signing off.